The Crash Course Podcast is brought to you in part by DerbyParts.com, Smashmaster, Derby Parts, and Derby Ink Magazine. Live it, breathe it, be it, Derby Ink. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby Podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now your host, Chris Marquardt.
Good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you might be listening from. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby Podcast. We are coming to you live from the Topeka Expo Center in Topeka, Kansas, preparing for Championship Sunday at Blizzard Bash 2013. With me at the table, Josh Decker, and we've also got renowned builder and four-time champion at the Seneca County Fairgrounds, Ben Host. Guys, we are upon it. The work that's going on out in the pit area for those team cars is astounding. The cars are ready. There's some cars that are in really, really good shape. There's some cars that are in some really, really bad shape, but they're still going to be out there. And we're only about an hour and a half away from getting started. And we're going to kick right off at the top of the show once we get going here at Blizzard Bash 2013, presented by Speedway Motors and O'Reilly Auto Parts. We're going to get right off with the B main for the team division. There's going to be a whole mess of cars out there. And I tell you what, that's going to be just as good as any feature that we're going to see all weekend.
There will not be one event. I don't think there'll be one event today that's not killer. I mean, everything, the cars that are out there right now, man, I can't wait for today.
Well, the pro mods, I mean, the pro mods are rolling in now, and they're getting inspected, and these things are like, I mean, just amazing. The amount of work, the amount of time in these, and they got to weigh at least 8,000-9,000 pounds.
And Josh got his wish. There's a couple Imperials that are going to be out there in the pro mod.
Yes, there will be some Imperials out there. There's a subframe Imperial hooked to a boxcar Imperial like Richie does, and but they shorten the back of it.
That's Jack Teagarden's car.
Oh, it is.
Yep.
Oh boy,
Jack Teagarden. We're trying to put the dots together to get Jack Teagarden up here to appear with us. If you're not familiar with some of the Derby Hall of Famers, Jack Teagarden would definitely be one of them. He drove the Enforcer car with Dent from way back. Yep. One of our fans, SB Motorsports, announcing he got to see and run against both of the Enforcer cars.
Nice.
So it's kind of cool that we might be able to make that come together. We had Ryan Sweat on the show yesterday. That was kind of cool.
Oh, that was awesome.
That was awesome.
There's some discussion that he might be back up here today. You know what? I was happy with the first time. From here, it's just bonus. You know.
Oh, no, and he seemed like a real great guy, man. Just kind of talked.
I thought he wanted to leave. I didn't think he was having that great of a time.
Oh, no, I don't think so. Did you? I didn't think so. I thought he was just a country guy. I mean.
Yeah, and he was a good guy. I mean, he was having the Kings of Crash show and being so popular and coming out, here, I mean, everybody was just like, can I get a picture? Can I get a picture? Can I get a picture? I mean, he's here with his family, to watch the show, and he was just so good with it. It's like, sure.
And
what do you need? And he made a lot of kids' days, and it was just awesome.
A year ago, he's just a country.
His
county
words,
fair
he was just
driver.
a country guy that
a good old boy, I think he said.
Yeah,
and absolutely right. And now all of a sudden you come to a huge show like this, and every single person in the stadium knows you. I mean, that's for any of us that would be overwhelming, I think. And like you said, Ben, as soon as he stepped out the door, people are asking for pictures. You kind of feel bad for him, but I thought it was real cool that he came down.
Yeah, Mark Klein from Derby Tees, and Brad Carson from Custom Parts, 469 Custom Parts. Both of those guys were instrumental in helping get Ryan over here. We sure appreciate it, and we've come across a number of national caliber Derby rock stars, as it were. Scott Zisselman's here.
Yeah. Toby Hiley.
Toby Hiley's here. Vic Nunez is here. We saw Tori Schutte here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of the big tier guys are here taking this in, and I hope they brought a deep notebook, because there's a lot of things that you can learn from doing the show in terms of putting together an outstanding program.
And a lot of big name guys that are actually running too. I mean, guys that I first got familiarized with out in Mayhem years and years ago. I mean, you got Jack Pribble and Matt Schilling's running, and right down to the Team Kansas there. I'm not good with names, sorry guys.
Jimmy Johnson.
Not Jimmy Johnson, the other old iron driver. Muse. Is it Muse?
Might be. Let me find. I got the
I
list
think
right
Muse
here.
ran a white 80s car, I believe.
No.
Jimmy Johnson, Justin Montgomery, and Chad Markley.
Chad Markley. Markley is he's had a lot of out to Mayhem, a lot of awesome runs out there, but just everybody this morning. I mean, we got here a little bit early, got to go out in the pits, and it's like, to me, I mean, it's everybody.
We had Josh Wagner on the show yesterday too. Mike Brown in the 69er. We had him on the show.
Yep, but the pits are just insane. I mean, everybody has their specific job they have to do, and they're getting it done. I mean, the features are going to be wicked.
I mean, I know this is a bit contrite or possibly cliche to put it out there, but when you watch them, they each have a very specific job. It's as if you're watching a NASCAR pit crew. I mean, they are focused on. Everybody has their job. They're doing it. They are very good at what they're doing, and no one has to come back and babysit that job. No one has to come back and double check it or anything along those lines. And that's confidence right there to say that, yeah, you know what, we're going out here for a chance at some pretty serious money against some of the stiffest competition out there, and you know what, it's my car, and you do it, and I know you're going to do it right.
Yeah, no, there's 100%. And, last night we hung out with a couple of the teams there and got to listen to their pit guys. And these guys take it really seriously. It's not just like your buddies coming over and you drink a beer or two. And, no, these guys are really taking it seriously. They have set times, set jobs, and they come over and they're working every day. And it was just kind of cool. Like you say, it's almost like a professional team. You have to bring almost a professional team with you when you're here.
Yeah, these guys have a good time. Don't get me wrong. Everybody has a good time here. But when it's time for business, it's time for business. I mean, they get it done. They're serious. They're true innovators, and the stuff they do. I mean, it's awesome. I mean,
it's a lot of fun to look at the different build styles. I mean, some of them have their kicker up a little higher. Some of them set their cradle up a little higher. Some of them put it down a little bit lower, and everybody's doing just as well.
Yeah, they all have their own set ways on how they do things, and you know what?
And Mike Brown built his car in 3 days. Right. Not that he wanted to, but in this situation, he was able to get a very effective car together, and his car looks good at this point going into the feature.
And that team is very dominant right now. Not dominant, but one of the top teams. I mean, there's probably 3 or 4 that are going to be great. But
and that's like any style car. You know, you build, these guys are building these newer style Fords. They build enough of them. They know. I mean, like Josh knows to build a shocker. You know what I mean? Years and years ago when you first start, you'd be like, oh, it's taking a weekend, taking more time than I want. Now you can pull one in on a Friday,
right?
And for a show on Saturday night.
Yeah. Oh no, much. I almost feel that way. Definitely.
And these guys are pretty much same thing, same concept. It's just a different, that next level in.
It is.
That's been a recurring theme that we've heard from a number of drivers that we've had up here, both as part of the Finger Lakes 1 portion of the program with Crash Course Live, and in addition to Crash Course working with Blizzard Bash and the Blizzard Forecast and Blizzard Bash analysis programs. It's not limited weld, it's not weld, it's not heavy build. The term that they use here is extreme. And it's extreme front to back. When you look at what they're doing in the pits, there was, I think, on Friday night going into Saturday, at that point they had 1 3-hour repair block.
Yep.
3-hour repair block. There were 3 engines changed and 10 transmissions.
Right.
3 engines and 10 transmissions.
And there was guys. We saw a guy change a tranny out for the Consi.
Yeah, he trained.
Who would up our way? Who would ever do that? I loaded up. I loaded up if I break an axle.
Yeah.
Here's another interesting statistic. When you combine Team Guard, 2011 champions, and Team DMP, some of the wildest guys you will ever meet.
For sure.
The Dirty Missouri Posse,
yep.
DMP, combined. That's it. That's actually what they have run. They've run 2 heats combined. Those teams have been on the track for under 10 minutes.
Yeah, we were talking to the one guy. We were talking to one guy last night. What was it? 2 minutes and 15 seconds or something like that. He said because we were all joking.
At this point, Team Guard has not gone over the 5-minute mark for their 2 heats. Man. They had the white team with the flames the first time, and then in their pairing yesterday, they absolutely owned the yellow and black team once Mayberry got off the wall. The big thing was getting Mayberry off the wall, and that addition to that team has been outstanding as well because he knows a lot of stuff that he has been able to share with that team, and they're going to face some adversity. They don't have a cakewalk to a win. They have to get through a very, very tough Team DMP, and you've also got on the backside of that Team Camo, who their cars are a little wore out, but they've been making junk and using every inch of their car as a battering ram.
They had to work through their heat for sure.
And they're working hard this morning. I mean, you can tell the teams that are, like Chris was saying, I mean, they have a real low track time. I mean, their cars were still covered up out there when I walked through the pits, and you got other cars that are
100 people on them.
Yeah, 100 people on them, and they're fine tuning. But
you can make a lot of money if you want a skid steer here today.
Yeah, oh no.
You
know what was real cool though is there's such a luck factor in the team derby. Not luck, but dumb luck almost. I don't know. When you have these, look at the Brown team. That the first night they had to go 30 minutes. How long was that 3-man derby?
It was a long.
So they went 30 minutes, and then you look at Team Guard who went 2 minutes and 15, or DMP went 2 minutes and 15. Total opposite sides, but they're all going to have to meet at the. It's really, it comes out to your draw. I mean, really, everything's determined on your draw.
Right,
here.
the luck of the draw.
But I mean, if you think about that, Team Guard and Team DMP, they've run 2 heats each, so that means that each of those teams have eliminated 8 cars.
Yeah. Right.
So that's 16 cars. They've eliminated 16 cars in under 10 minutes.
That's a good point of looking at it. That's a good way of looking at it.
Yep.
And their cars are essentially straight. They look good from the outside anyway. We couldn't get that close to them.
Right.
Well, no, yeah. I mean, they're going to – these guys, like I said before, I mean, they're very sociable. They're very approachable.
But they're also protective.
And yeah, they have a lot of time. They have a lot of work, a lot of knowledge. Excuse me.
Josh was talking to a team last night outside of the Capitol Plaza right here at the Topeka Expo Center complex, and was asking about the new Fords and asking this and asking a few questions. And he goes, "Well, do you mind if?" And they interrupted him and said, "If you're going to say pictures, no."
Right.
Exactly.
You remember what you can remember, and then you figure the rest out for yourself.
And totally understandable. I mean, I totally understand that.
Right, and that just goes back to years ago when there wasn't the Wii Crash and there wasn't the internet.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody. When I first started out, I mean, I got my butt kicked for years. You know, and,
we all did.
And just trying to keep up with the Joneses, pretty much, as you want to say. And now, pretty much, if you got a computer, you can get on and learn what it took me 8-10 years to learn in 15 minutes.
Let's come back to that here just for 1 second. Let's give a quick recap of what we're going to see today. First of all, this is Championship Sunday here at Blizzard Bash 2013, presented by Speedway Motors and O'Reilly Auto Parts. The schedule is as such. 2 to 5 is the game plan for today. The Team B feature will be on the track first, followed by the modified compacts, insane-looking cars there. The Noel division, which there is some Swiss cheese frames out there in that Noel division. I expect a lot of carnage for that one. That'll be a lot of fun. Old Iron, the Pro Mods, and then the A feature to follow. Right now, the qualifiers in the A feature are the Black and Blue team, Team Guard, Team DMP, and the Camo team, and they are going to await the winner of the B main, and all these cars that are about to follow will be out there at the same time. The pink and the flat black team, we saw them do a pretty good job.
Yeah.
The yellow and black team,
strong in the first round.
Postal Mopar is going to be in the B main.
I actually heard that they might have loaded their cars up.
All their cars were sitting together out there in the pit area.
Okay, well maybe
there were guys milling around the cars. There wasn't a lot going on.
Right.
They're scheduled to appear. Bobby Whitaker with Team Brown is supposed to be out there with that car is so bent it cannot get hung up on the barriers. And the pink, purple, and black team, who got in through the first C main yesterday, and then Team Kansas with a team of 3 went out against the defending champions and put those 4 cars out, outlasted the black team, and another team of 3 to go on to the B main. So they have some work in front of them, but it's that experience level that helps drive that.
Pink and purple was real tough in that in their final one, and Team Kansas, 2 old Buicks, and the night before Arden Jennings was telling us, you watch those Kansas Old Iron and you'll be impressed with them, and they were. They duked it out with those Vics for a long time, and you would have thought they couldn't have lasted. I kind of thought maybe the end of the night, and they won.
We had a couple champions that were crowned yesterday. We had the Power Wheels, one of the awesomest heats I've ever seen in anything. That was so cool.
How could you not
the young
love
Ford boy got heavy hitter.
Yep.
He put it to the wood right off the top.
Yep.
The lawnmowers were great. We had a couple flip overs there. A bunch of front ends got ripped off. The Power Wheels were taking wheels off each other.
Yep.
And they actually, when they did inspection, they were putting the Power Wheels up on the lifts.
Yep.
That was pretty cool.
That was awesome. That was great.
We had the ladies only division. It was Erica Kibbe Phelps picking up the win there. Derek Cleveland won the youth division, and that was a long. I mean, there's only 7 cars, but that was probably a 35-minute heat by itself.
Exactly.
They were out there a long time.
And there you go, talking about new technology where people can get on the computer. Look at these youth cars. Those youth cars would destroy me, and they're 16-year-olds in them.
Yeah,
you know,
the youth cars here. Lest anyone think that we're talking about youth cars that are common to home with 4 and 6 cylinders, and you have somebody riding with you. No, these are built the same way as the 80s class cars
They were.
Yep.
They were heavy builds.
Yep. And these kids stood on them. I mean,
Yeah,
they went for it.
They went
that
for it.
number 30 car, he was out there limping around. He had 2 wheels ripped off, and he was still out there giving it hell. You know,
Yep.
he was trying.
Oh yeah.
Gary Russell, qualifying for the 80s A main through the Constellation event, had nothing behind the rear pillars and the
It
rear
was
axle.
junk after that
It was
Consti.
destroyed after the Consti.
It was junk.
And that car was the motor in that car was strong from the go right at the end. I mean, he'd open that up and it'd be like, it's amazing.
He deserved to win, really. A car like
Exactly.
that, I mean, he worked for it all night long. He
And-
deserves that win.
And he wasn't just hiding in a corner.
Right.
No, he was
No,
hitting.
no.
He was hitting stuff.
He was going after it.
He was in the, and there was times where people were after him. I mean, he was getting beat on. I can think of a couple times he was getting beat on and made it through it.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, he was one of the. I think he was one of the first ones to really start going after the raffle car.
Well, we can give you the rundown on the top 4 or 5 here. Dawson Dittmer in the Z car. We saw him qualify through an event. He looked great in his heat.
Young kid, 18 or 19 years old.
And he could have very easily taken that car and run the youth division instead.
Yeah.
But he was out there with the 80s guys, and he ran well,
Held his
picking
own,
up a second place spot. When it got down to the last 3 cars, I thought he was going to win.
Yeah, it looked like he had more car. Yeah.
Yep.
He certainly had, his car was not laboring whatsoever. Jim Pribble in the 21, we talked about him a moment ago from some of the Mayhem days. He had a Lincoln. He lost the water in it, I don't know, right when they dropped the green flag.
No, literally at the beginning of that Derby. I mean, and you could right at the end, you could see how hot it was. You knew when he stalled out there, I knew it wasn't going to fire back up, but that lasted forever.
Yeah.
It really lasted forever. That was impressive.
So, and 4th place with the 11X of Colton Newhalfen, and then the raffle car, which all the proceeds from that raffle went to Julia, a 3-year-old girl that was recently diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. The whole program was designed around generating money for the benefit of the family of Julia in Missouri, which that was the whole point of Junkin' for Jules night. There's Junkin' for Jules t-shirts. All the proceeds from those sales go to the family. The raffle car that was sold was driven by Josh Anderson. He picked up 5th, and he was looking really good in that too. But at one point, he got hit hard, and it rung his bell pretty bad. And after that, it was time to park it. He was all done.
Yeah, according to him, he took a steering wheel to the gut, which I bet. I mean, he looked tight inside that car.
Yeah, he was tight.
And I bet he did. But
Is that a kind way of saying something else?
Yeah. Well, so he got out and he looked exhausted.
Yes.
And Sam said to me, afterwards we talked about it, and Sam said to me, that's probably a guy that just doesn't drive a lot, and you could see it there. He just couldn't last. He couldn't hang on.
Exactly. And the thing of it is, though, is he was a guy out there, and he won the raffle car, but he had some experience. He had some sort of experience, because you could tell. I mean, he's out there with
it wasn't his first day.
It wasn't his first rodeo. And he went out there, he was picking and choosing the shots. He was driving.
Yeah, no, he was.
And I laugh, and we joked last night. I says, you know what? I says, it got to the point where they just got tired of him.
Mm-hmm.
And you could tell. All of a sudden, it was just they were picking their own shots, going after other guys, but then all of a sudden, they seen them and seen the way the car was and said, well, we better take care of business.
Well, let's not forget, he's the fresh car.
Exactly.
He went to a feature fresh, and that thing was built. I mean, and it sounded fantastic. Got an LS1 motor in it, sounded like it.
Yep.
And like you said, the kid would pick it up, slow it down, pick it up, slow it down. And eventually, you looked, he was one of the straightest looking, I think, out there right at the end.
Right.
And so they had to pick him off.
Yeah, they did. They had to.
You can't let the raffle car win.
Let's actually take that and springboard that into something I want to come back to that Ben brought up a little bit ago. Right now, if you had a bottomless wallet like Josh Decker's, you could. You could.
My wallet's at the bottom this weekend.
It is. It should be at the bottom
It's
of
at the bottom.
a Lake Kansas or whatever.
Right.
Whatever that body of water is back there. You spend all your money on raffles.
It's been awesome.
Good. It's for a good cause. That's how you can justify it.
Yeah.
It's a good cause.
No, it is.
It's a good cause. I don't know how work's going to feel about you drawing off that, but it's cool.
Hey, link out, they took credit cards.
That's right. So right now, if you have an unlimited budget, if you have a somewhat unlimited budget even, you could walk into this arena right here today. You could go out to Vendors Row, and you could buy everything you need except for a shell. And for another $600, you get a Crown Vic, and you could build a car that will compete.
And there's actually you could go down to the vendor area because there's a guy on the table. He's got 3 cars for sale.
Oh, he does.
there.
Right. I
Yeah.
forgot about
Oh,
that.
yeah.
He has
So,
cars.
so you could actually,
So you could.
literally purchase everything. I mean, you got Hofmeister here that builds. It's awesome products.
Awesome vendor.
Performance
There's a little
brands.
Hofmeister stuff going home with us.
Yeah, that's what I
Oh.
hear. That's
And
what
the
I hear.
quality, man. I mean, you look at that and pick that the distributor protector plate is so heavy. Do you see that guy struggling? I mean, he carried it.
He threw it up on his shoulder. I thought he was going to go over backwards.
Oh my gosh, that thing and those things are heavy.
Yeah.
The quality is like, wow,
Yeah,
this is.
I mean, it's half-inch plate.
They're not bending that.
It's half-inch plate.
I
steel.
can't bend that.
You know, it's just I work with the stuff all day long. I mean, I wouldn't. It'd be like, it's just amazing.
With their welds, I mean, everything is really
Top
good
quality.
quality. Yeah.
Well, the
really.
thing is, Hofmeister was a fab shop before they were a Derby parts shop.
And they still are.
And yeah,
That's
absolutely.
their primary
They-
thing
yeah.
is their specialty fab shop, and the guys that love derbies and they just progressed into it, and it's awesome.
They've
man,
set a
guys.
very, very, very high bar.
Yeah,
a very high bar.
And we've talked to them. We've had several discussions with them, and the guys are super cool guys.
and they know their stuff.
Yeah.
And they know their competition. They know, again, I think they're one of the best because obviously they're doing research. They're constantly growing. And hearing them talk, it's like these guys are on top of it. They definitely know where the sport's going.
You want to know something that made us feel good here on Crash Course is they told us we got a couple of things that we want to move. So before we even got on the show, we told a couple of people about what they wanted to move, and we didn't even get the opportunity to tell the folks listening now on the podcast and who are going to be listening a little bit later on this morning because this stuff already got sold.
Gone.
Right.
It's gone.
Right.
The stuff we told a couple people about it, and they said thanks, but it's already gone.
It's already
I
out.
mean that's a testament of how in demand that Hofmeister stuff is. We had the luxury of having a 727 cradle. They heard us talking about Mopar, so they dropped one off and set it up here on the counter, and it was with us all night long last night on Junkin' for Jewel Saturday. So that was kind of cool. But coming back to what we were talking about, you talked about I got junked for years, Ben. Josh says I got turned inside out for so long before I actually learned it, and then now we crash it out there, and you can go and you can do some research, so you don't have to go through those the pangs of learning how to do a derby car.
Oh, yeah.
Now on top of that, you can buy everything you need. So you do a little bit of research, you spend a lot of money,
Yeah, a lot of
and,
money.
and you can come out here and run essentially with anybody that is already out here in theory. I mean, you don't have the seat time to know
That's
the
it.
difference in the
That's-
driving.
That is the
and-
thing that's going to separate these guys because when you go through the pits, all those cars are virtually the same.
Yeah.
Which the difference is the seat time.
Yep.
And we saw a lot of it. I mean, every time you could see guys that have been there a very long time, the great drivers, and then you saw younger guys or guys that just weren't really thinking and they made mistakes. And again, you made one mental mistake, you were done.
You're done. Yeah.
You were done.
Yep. And that's the thing. I mean, these guys. I mean, you can't say it enough. I mean, it's just this. It's a top-notch, top quality drivers, and they're just you got to bring your A game.
How many states did we hear from as we were going through the pay-per-view? We heard from Sean Gokenau in Virginia, Shane Gent and Jaden Gent in Arkansas. We had the Millenux fellow in Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
We had guys in Iowa, Ohio, Pennsylvania,
North Dakota.
New Hampshire, North Dakota,
Yeah.
New York.
California.
We had
California.
California too. I mean, it was
Troy.
crazy.
Troy.
Troy.
Troy
Tagg
okay.
was on there saying California.
I
I
didn't-
think Troy Tagg. He's the one that he was part of the Cali crew that came out to Mayhem, right?
Presumably.
I'd like to get him on here today because now we're on East Coast. He's totally opposite side, and I hear some people saying yesterday that he was talking about he doesn't think he could compete out here. And they got clean iron out there. I mean, just from the
super,
pictures, super clean stuff. And I kind of like to hear what someone totally opposite side of the country
They have
thinks
some
about
different
today.
rules that they're subject to because of the emissions issues in California. They are forced into a couple different situations, and it would be fun to talk with Troy a little bit about that because we would be talking for a while about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the different scenarios that they face, and we got to try and figure out a way to make that happen.
No,
I'm
gonna
really
chant it through this place.
I really want Jack Teagarden to come up here. I don't know if we're going to be able to get him or not because he's not particularly into sitting in front of microphones. But
And you could see
I don't
that. He looks
think
old school.
Mike Brown was interested in doing it either. But at least he was up here.
Right.
That was
He
that
actually-
was pretty cool.
I'll tell you
He
what.
kept
he
looking
talked-
at me, and I thought I was going to get hit because he's like,
No, actually,
my
you know
car's
what?
okay. And I'm like, whoa.
No. Well, that heat was going on. He talked to me here the whole time while we watched the heat in between, and I thought he opened right up. He was being a really great guy. I thought he really knows his stuff. He really knows his
He
stuff.
built 6 cars for here.
Yeah, he's definitely a name that is. You mention out in the pits, everybody knows.
No, he's for real.
Yeah,
he's for real.
He's definitely one of the best.
And to build 6 frames in what did he say, 3 months or whatever?
3 months, yeah.
16-hour days in the garage.
October, yeah.
And he said that he said there wasn't a day I didn't miss. I was so far behind. And you'd think you get burned out. I mean, I get burned out just thinking of that. You know, think of that many days in the garage.
When you're when you're
he's
die hard into it.
Yeah.
I mean, the days just roll, and it's in the end result. The ultimate end result is if everything works the way it's supposed to work today, and the end result, then it's all worth it.
Oh, definitely.
You know,
Yeah, you're going home with a gigantic trophy.
and that's the way I look at it. I mean, I built several cars for people, and I actually enjoyed more
Seeing your work do well,
seeing,
right?
You know, if what I do, you know, it makes it worth it.
And think whoever wins these features. I mean, there's a lot of people watching on pay-per-view. There's a lot of people in the seats. You really want to take your time on all your builds because this is big. If you win this, like everyone hears about it.
Oh yeah,
everyone's going to hear
Well, I
your
mean,
name.
if you think about the way that this show is positioned. What else is going on in November? Really, what else have we got in terms of the Derby landscape? This is a great day, and I'm not intending this to be a pun. It's centrally located.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, really, everybody is towing about the same amount of time, whether you're coming from extreme west or extreme east.
Right.
Well, yeah, you hear 12 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours. I mean, what's the difference between 10 hours or 14? You know, it's we're all coming from real far away.
Then we throw our 18 to 19 hours out, and they about jaw hits the floor.
Yeah, when we tell them that we're from New York, when we
you guys are nuts.
We tell them that we're from New York, and we definitely get some. Wow, that's crazy, and it kind of makes you feel good that they appreciate the effort that we've been putting in here.
And the thing of it is New York, and then the second words out of your mouth are upstate New York.
Yeah,
And they're like, oh, whereabouts? And you tell them, around Syracuse, and the guys are like, oh, yeah. It's just weird.
Yeah.
How
Now they immediately think we're city kids.
Yeah.
It's like, New York City. It's like,
well, with all that gel in your hair.
Hey, come on. If you took your hat off, you'd probably need gel too.
I know. I don't.
No, actually, no.
Ben looks good today.
Yeah, Ben, you be quiet.
Ben, for the first time this week, combed his hair.
I wondered today, do you shampoo your hair?
He uses the bar soap on it.
Yeah, do you just use the bar?
Lathers it up with his hands and does his head and face and everything all at one time.
Well, at least I don't have to use wax to keep the shine down.
All right.
You got a co-host that has to do that.
That would be Brian Tompkins. He's probably in a deer stand right now.
Yeah.
Blizzard Bash is nice, but
I bet he doesn't see anything today.
But what you posting on Facebook is better than being at Blizzard Bash? Yeah, probably.
No,
enjoy it, Brian.
You're missing some great stuff, buddy.
I wish I could say. Never mind.
You're missing some crazy stuff.
Crazy stuff, yeah.
But them pro mods, or where did you want to go to?
No, we got a couple more minutes.
We pulled in today. And just we saw a pro mod.
We pulled in today, and our taxi driver stopped.
Why do you guys gotta, guys?
We got a bust on you, John.
Yeah, okay.
Go on.
No, it was from 200 yards away. We could see this pro mod that
it's
Ben,
the Batmobile.
Ben put it up on Facebook. If you guys go look at it, unbelievable.
Started out as a Chrysler. I think it was a Chrysler 300.
300.
Yeah, 2-door.
The guy literally said, there was a guy talking to him, and I was up there taking pictures and looking, and just like, oh my God, he's got a diamond plate truckload of steel on it. And,
did you see the hood? It's a single sheet of tread plate.
Right. And
so was the truck.
The guy said, he goes, well, is a fresh built car? And he goes, no, actually, he says, from here, which he's pointing right behind the doors, back is the only thing that's left. He goes, the car literally got split in half at the last show. So they had to make from the rear, the back of the doors forwards, all new.
Wow.
What did they do for sub? I didn't get to look at it close enough. Did they put a sub, or they just made steel and?
There was a train derailed in his hometown because he stole all the railroad.
The wheel wells are all rolled 1/4 inch. I mean, the actual inner fenders and wheel wells. I mean, that car is just a rolling load of diamond plate.
So what happens today? I mean, guys, what happens? You can't bend this stuff. So
No,
what do we break it?
You find the weak point.
But you're looking.
Yeah.
But you looked at the rear ends and setups. I mean, you looked at those. They're not running stock.
When that
8
much
3/4.
when you're moving that much momentum from one heavy ball of steel into another, you're going to find a weak point,
Yeah.
and it doesn't have to be a very big weak point. We saw this at the Lake Erie Rumble a couple years back, and then they had the Ironman class at the Chautauqua County Fair before, the tanker division at the Fall Brawl event that Keystone Nationals put on back in 2012 or 2011. They don't bend. They don't break, or they don't bend. They don't in the traditional sense of the term. They just break, like they lose the steering or they run out of gas or drive line snap, stuff like that.
You're talking.
It's a lot of mass.
Oh, you're talking anywhere from, who knows? I'm ballparking anywhere from 8,000 to 9,000 pounds. And you're out here slam banging and twisting. I mean, it's like dump trucks, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's.
I'm excited to see it.
It was described in the pits. We were over with the Hoffmeister guys, and they said basically take the 2 heaviest hammers that you can find and put one in each hand and slam them into each other, and that's what you're going to see.
Right.
And that's pretty much it. They're just going to bounce off of each other.
Yep.
You might see a spark or two.
You'll actually, literally, you will see sparks. I mean, I've watched them before.
Well, we saw sparks in the lawnmowers.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, off the
That's true.
front ends to front ends, off the bumpers to bumpers hitting, you're going to see sparks, and it's.
Now, do you think these guys are going to have nasty motors in them today? I mean, boy, it would be nice to hear some of them
I
Baldwin motors.
Dude, I checked that Chrysler one. He's got. I didn't get to talk to the guy, but I almost, if I was to put money on it, I think he's running an alcohol motor in it.
Yeah.
And he.
Pay attention, Sean Gokenauer. There's an Alky motor out there.
I mean, he's just. I took a picture of the inside of the car. I'll probably post it a little bit later, but I mean, it's amazing what he's got in there.
And we got the no-weld guys, the chain and ghost. We got some Swiss cheese frames out there for that, so that'll be a lot of fun. I mean, those things are going to just blow to pieces.
But it's not a true chain and go, or is it? I mean,
No.
I've seen
It's
some,
no weld.
It's almost. Oh, is it no weld?
They call it no weld.
So I must be looking at the old iron that kind of looks more like our kind of rules with thread rod, weld your bumper brackets, but that's virtually it.
Right.
Like I've seen some Chevy Impalas and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
But they're just. It's actually interesting to see that too, because they have a little bit different concept on the rolling and how things are going to bend up, and they go at it a little bit different way, and it'll be real interesting to see. I mean, we're used to seeing these cars just blister one another and minimal damage to an extent. These guys, if they come out and drive like them, things are going to really
I agree.
go.
This is almost one of those where if you can just kind of slow your pace down for the first 2-3 minutes, I think it'll be beneficial, because how long could that heat be? I mean, look at the track.
Yeah,
Look at the track.
The track's
I mean-
just insane.
Let's talk about the track. I mean, the base that they have here is outstanding. It has been so fast, and after each heat, they just put a little bit of a drizzle of water on it. I mean, they're not going crazy with it. The base is hard. It's fast. These barriers are hard. They're well packed. It's like being packed into a Jersey barrier.
Yep.
At the same time, if somebody gets a hold of you, like we saw Booger with the compacts yesterday, he got a hold of a car and he shoved him over the berm so hard it almost landed on the lap of a Bobcat operator.
Yeah.
And speaking of the Booger, he's
He's
running
back.
He's running
I
a
saw the
wild
Y4.
card.
Yeah.
So we'll see how old Booger does today.
Car looked good.
Yeah,
The car looked good.
Well, the compact winner from yesterday, which was the first champion that was crowned, that was part of the morning session. Scott Mulder, he was driving car number 77. He came up here and hung out with us for a little while, and he's buddies with him. And he goes, and that's it. It's just Booger. There's no first name. There's no last name. There's nothing. It's just Booger.
Yeah. And it's when you said compacts.
And who are we to argue?
Yeah, no, hey.
And when you said compacts, pro mod or pretty much mod compacts.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. We should have talked about it. Yeah, absolutely.
I was like, Josh and I are standing there, we're like watching them go by. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
most of them look like Mustangs. We've seen 3 or 4 Mustangs. I see Illumina out there, but
And I'd take one of these. I'd take one of these compacts home. I'd take one of these compacts home and run it anywhere. World class.
Yeah.
I'd take it to Cuba. I'd take it anywhere and run
absolutely.
it. Because these things are just nasty.
They're not bending. They're not going to.
nasty.
Yeah.
It's going to be
It's awesome.
it's going to be a crazy, crazy, crazy afternoon.
Yep.
We're just about out of time. We're going to be off for probably close to an hour or so, and then we're going to move into the Ustream pay-per-view portion of our program. Any final thoughts? Because this is going to be the last. This is going to be the last time the podcast portion of the show, the Crash Course Live portion, is going to be on from Topeka. The next time you hear from us, we will be back in the Seneca Falls studio. We plan it anyway, depending on how the drive goes. Who knows what'll happen if tonight goes until 3 in the morning? We may not be back.
It's going to take longer than 5. It ain't going to be 3 hours. I can't imagine.
The only thing I got to add is I got to give a big thank you to Chris and Josh to let me come out and be a part of this. And this is just anybody that knows me. This is it for me. I mean, I'm a Derby dude, and this is. I don't know. This is like a big old birthday, Christmas present, all wrapped up in one. I love this stuff, and I can't thank these guys enough and let me be a part of this. And I really think it's a good thing. I mean,
the response has been good. The response has been good, and we're hoping to keep that going. Right now, there's some very good conversations going on. Both within the Topeka Expo Center here at Blizzard Bash 2013, presented by Speedway Motors and O'Reilly Auto Parts, and outside the circles, which is even better for everybody involved. We want the people on the outside to be talking about how awesome this was, and we're just thrilled to be a part of it. This is, I mean, when we launched the Crash Course podcast, Josh, 7 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago,
would I imagine I'd be sitting here right now watching what I watched? I mean, Chris,
thank you.
We
knew it was possible. But I don't know if we really at that point believed it to be probable before the end of the year. And
can I throw a thanks to Sam for inviting us? I mean, Sam, what a weekend we had. The three of us have just been loving the entire weekend. And, I mean, just, again, we've been saying next level 100 times, but it really has been. It's been, I really want to say thank you for us. And I know the guys out east that are watching are saying thank you because how else would they have watched this? And I think it's great for the sport. So thank you guys.
Yeah, because he's welcomed us in. I mean, welcomed you guys in with open arms, and whatever you guys need, and it's just super.
They've been great here.
Nice guys.
Yeah, they've been great here.
Yep.
And also, I want to say thanks to Hoffmeisters. Those guys were great back there.
It was fun hanging out with them.
They were.
We had them up on the show, and the thing is I keep saying the show. We've had so many guests. Yesterday we were on the air for 11 and a half hours. I don't even remember who was on what part of the program.
No, we had so
some
much
of it,
going on.
Some of it was one time only. It's not recorded. It's not available on DVD or anything like that. It was on the pay-per-view, and after that moment passed, it was gone.
Yeah.
We've got our podcast portions of things, and we've got to go outside of the parameters of the pay-per-view. Well, outside of the parameters of the pay-per-view are the times when the guys are working on their cars. So that's what's making it a little bit more difficult for us to get some of these bodies up here and do some of the live interviews. But the context that we've made, we've got a lot of phone numbers and we've got a lot of podcasts that we need to book still. So things should work out just fine.
And there's a lot of guys that just, they're nice guys. You'll talk to them face to face, but they just don't. I mean, it's not their thing.
Well, they're no different than you. I mean, you do not really like this part of stuff.
Well, this kind of. I mean, I'm. This is new to me. You could probably tell the way things don't come too fluent for me, but I'm not used to it. But you know what? I'm glad I did it, and I'm having a lot of fun. And I wouldn't. Hopefully, I might be able to do it again sometime.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, there's already talk about Blizzard Bash 2014 being in the works, so I anticipate a future being bright for this stuff. I'm hoping. I mean, we've had people texting us saying you need to come and do this at such and such fair. I'm just like, I don't even know what state that's in.
See, if we do this again, I'm bringing a lawn chair and I'm going to stay right down by the inspection line.
Oh yeah,
because that's my thing.
If we do this again, if we make a phone call, you can probably have a seat there that you can only sit in periodically because you're going to be inspecting cars.
I don't know these guys out here. I mean, it's awesome. I mean, it'd be great to be part of it. I mean.
No, being in an inspection line would be great because you get to hear all the little things that are going on, and the only things you'd be hearing are the things that got caught or have to change, that's the things that actually matter.
Yeah, and
you're a drama-driven pot stirrer, Josh Decker.
That's fun. I'm from a Wego area. That's all those Wego guys are.
You got a doctorate in that.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
But yeah, I mean that's
again great weekend.
It's been a lot of fun. Last night, Junkin' for Jewels. Make sure you get on Derby Parts or derbytees.com and check out the Junkin' for Jewels stuff. derbytees.com.
Great guys.
Yeah, Mark was awesome. He was up here hanging out with us, and all the proceeds from those shirt sales are going towards that family. They're hoping to pass on a $20,000 check to them, which would be outstanding. A lot of the drivers have passed on portions of their proceeds and their winnings. A lot of the vendors have passed on portions of what they've taken in. Last night, so much going on around that little girl, and we wish her the best.
Yeah.
Good things come with good energy. So we wish her the best, and we're down to about.
I want to put you guys in a spot.
All right, go ahead.
Team show.
You pick first, then, Josh.
Pick Josh.
I'll basically what I'm doing right now, because you've got the B to go through still too. So in theory, you could pick Team Kansas to win this whole thing, but they got to get through the B first.
To get through two heats and features, really, that's what it would be.
One heat and one feature.
But really, everything is a feature here.
Right.
To go through two of them in a day, you're really behind. I'm going with either the guard or I'm going with the. No, I'm not doing that because DMP is. Both of those teams to me are, again, they're going to run not head to head. They're going to run with a whole group. So we don't know how that dynamic is going to change it. And DMP is very confident. They got some great stuff, but guard and Brockway's guys just as good, just as great stuff, and all clean. Everything's clean right now.
Clean.
Everything's starting fresh.
So,
Ben, because I'm not big on.
Dude, we got to talk to DMP guys. I know the guard guys. I've watched a lot of them guys run, and I tell you what, DMP they're gonna junk stuff, but I think the ultimate win is gonna be the guard guys. I really want the DMP guys to win because they're super cool guys.
Great guys.
they're awesome guys.
Guys.
But they're a lot of times people tend to go after the wild ones first. They want to take as I would say, the ladle heads out first.
Yeah.
And but
also if you can't, I don't know, do they get guys on the defensive quickly and everyone's. Right. If they get guys out of their game.
So my pick would be guard.
If you're playing to not get hit, you're going to get put on the barrier.
But let's not remember, the most important thing is, what if you lose a guy? Guy gets stuck on a wall.
Exactly.
Totally changes everything.
Exactly.
There's going to be so many cars out there that it's going to be far easier for that guy to get knocked off the wall, intentionally or accidentally. The odds are better of him getting knocked off the wall because somebody's going to shove somebody into that car. We saw Ryan Durham get Mayberry off the wall. Yeah. In their heat against the yellow and black team, and once he got off the wall, the momentum absolutely changed in favor of the guard team.
But I think the team on another aspect of it, the team that's going to do the most damage, I think is going to be DMP.
Yeah.
They're going to do most damage. I'm sure.
I think they're just going to when they come out there, they're just going to.
They're ready.
The candles are going to be lit.
They're junking. They're junking, but
they don't even need a brake pedal in the car.
But when it comes down to it, you still need somebody to take the checker.
Right.
So
good point. They said we have not heard their motors past 3 quarters, and they're going to show us today. So
and their motors scream.
Oh, I'm
shop bill. They're shop bill.
Right, shop bill.
They use the term shop in-house. In-house.
Yeah. Yep.
And I tell you what, I wouldn't mind being in that house.
No, no, that's so true. But the team event is going to be super exciting. Everyone's going to be on their feet for that.
So you're going to get off your political box and pick one, or you're going with I'm going to pick the guy that you're just basically saying I'm going to pick the guy that I kind of like and the guy that I know is going to win, and that way I'm not wrong.
Yes. No, there's 2 totally different driving styles. Like Ben said, one of those guys are going out there and they're going to run the balls off it until the end.
We're not putting the checkered flag on driving styles.
I think guard. But again, first time I've ever seen DMP. I think guard.
You're going with guard.
I'm going.
Well, now you make me feel silly. I should have went first. I didn't have to think about it. Team guard. Absolutely. Guard speed shop. I mean, and it's strange having the sweep like that because after you guys were talking, I really expected both of you to go with DMP.
There's
so many variables today. I mean,
there's the variables.
Everybody, you got to look at it. All the people I picked to do good this weekend,
I've not
tanked. So I'm like, I just have to change my mindset because all last night I'm like DMP, and I'm like, you know what? It's like gambling. You got to roll the dice, and anything can happen.
Yes.
And
I mean, you could get a team that comes out with 2 cars, and if that 2-car team gets a hold of you at the right spot when you're looking for your main competition, and they get a hold of you and put you on the wall, you're done. Mm-hmm. You're not going to get off that wall. The way these berms are made, you're not going to get off the wall.
And what we don't know are what teams work together. Are there a team out there?
Yeah,
are there a team?
There's some telltale signs. You can figure out real quick who's working together. Look at some roof signs. You'll learn a lot.
You got to expect there's some guys that are going to say to other guys, "Hey, take care of this for me. Take care of that for me." You might see some of that.
On that side of it, the pits today have been a game of let's make a deal.
Yes.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, there's
Let's make a deal.
This is actually like the draft.
Yep.
And I've seen it before. Other big shows that we went and we actually, friends of mine have participated in, and I have the line of cars, the lineup of cars you go down through, and it's like like I said, it's like the draft. Who you guys running with? Where are you guys from? You can run with us if you want. That's the terminology that we got to use with us.
Oh yeah.
You basically can have a privilege to run with us if you would like. But on the other side of it, you can read between the lines and say, well, if you say no, you're going to get junked.
You.
So, and there's also, I'm sure there's people.
You're going to get junked anyway.
I'm sure
it just won't be as fast.
I'm sure there's people being approached and asking if they could run with them, and there was some rejection. So that could have its repercussions too.
Yeah, good point. Because we're talking big money today. We're talking serious. When these guys are recruiting you, I mean, this is serious right now. These guys are really back there taking it serious. So
another thing that came up that I didn't realize is, look at how long Team Guard has run together.
Yes.
The core of that, Jeremy Guard, Bobby Brockway, Ryan Durham, been together for a long time. Those three were together when they won 2011 Blizzard Bash.
Right.
They were together almost in full. All three of them were together when they won Spring Explosion that same year, 2011. They were all together at Spring Explosion again this year. They were there together last year. They were there together at Blizzard Bash 2012. They're here again now. They got Mayberry, who they're very familiar with. They're pretty close with the EPR guys.
Yeah.
So he knows their style. When you look at those cars, they move and think is one. It's that ball under the cup thing.
And they showed it.
They
showed it for sure.
You never really know which one's going where, but every one of them knows exactly what they're going to do.
They do.
Yeah. Yep.
On the other side of it, the Dirty Missouri Posse, they got 2 new drivers with them.
And I think that's probably my reason for going with Guard is again driving.
When the
as
chips
a
are
team.
down, every Derby driver, I've talked to every one of them. They have this thing where they say that they lose it. Every Derby driver has that threshold, be it a point of panic. Where when we saw McClure out here with Team Postal Mopar, when all of the DMP cars were at this end of the track, and he did a donut, and the only thing that he could see was 4 black and green cars lined up facing him, and the other blue and silver cars all sitting up in the corner. He was the only one left, and he was the opposite end of the track.
Exactly.
Lonely feeling.
So that's that moment of that's not where you lose it. That was a moment of panic.
Yeah.
Both of those moments can be realized in the feature today. You can have the moment of panic. You can have the moment of I'm just going to go out and destroy stuff. Both of them are very, very costly in a team atmosphere.
And anger.
Oh, yeah.
And anger. All of a sudden, anger gets people fired out there for sure. So all of a sudden you get in a driver door by somebody that you thought was running with you. And again, we don't know who's running together out here until everybody pulls out there. But there's some of it for
They
sure.
could tell you who's running together, and you won't know it until you get out there.
No.
And
that could change.
Now, does it go by state to state? I mean, is that kind of what we'll see, or is it just best and better?
So.
No,
I don't think so.
You're going to be friends. You're going to be friends with the guys that are going to be the wildest. If you have that mentality, the crazy guys are going to be the ones that are going to expose the weak points of your main competition. They're going to go crazy.
Yeah,
or you're going to be friends with the guys that are your stiffest competition, so you only have to worry about them through the course of the day.
I think a high percentage is you're going to try to make friends with the nut jobs, the crazy guys, because them guys are going to go out there and they're going to go after the stiffest competition. They're going to go after the best cars that are out there, just to try to create a major weak point that you can take advantage of.
Lance Pritchett with Team Light Blue and Black. He came up here. He sat with us for a while. They are all from Minnesota and North Dakota. He said, "We're here. We're taking care of business. Simple as that." Never even got out of his car. Set it through his helmet. Put it in drive. Drove off the track after their second round matchup, and they advanced. And that sent the pink and flat black team into the B main that we're going to see first off at 2:00 here at Blizzard Bash 2013. After that, the guard team was out. Guard team, Jeremy Guard said very succinctly when Andy was down there on the track doing the interviews, said, "We are here to win."
Uh-huh.
No doubt about it. Off they went, back to business. Team DMP. The track announcer came up to the driver's door and said, "Hey, we'd like to do an interview." He said, "Nope." Didn't even and put it in drive and drove back to the pits. They are here for business. This is very much a professional derby. It's very much an extreme build derby, and at the same time, when you look at the way that they're handling themselves, it also seems to be very, very personal.
Oh, Very personal.
Just the bragging rights.
Yeah.
You know,
You're the man tonight.
Yeah.
Whoever's winning this tonight is the man.
Yeah.
No.
And a lot of times that's bigger and better than the first place finish.
Can I throw one quick thing out there? Why I want to see DMP win, actually, maybe you guys forgot, but they said if they win, they're not stopping when it comes down to 4. They're going to junk all 4 of their own cars.
Exactly.
And you know what? That would be insane. That would
be
great.
That capped the end.
It would.
Night.
Oh my gosh.
You gotta have at least 2 cars run in order to do that at the end of the night.
That's true too.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
true
for
too.
sure.
Good point.
For sure.
Good point. They think they're going out there and just, I think
you can plan your touchdown dance, but you got to get to the end zone before you can do
Great
it.
point. Great point.
And
but I'm still rooting for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you change your pick. You're going with
No.
DMP? Oh.
Well, maybe just for that side of it. Yeah, maybe I will.
Okay, so it's got 2 guards and 1 DMP.
Somebody's going to win tonight.
And unfortunately,
somebody's going to win.
And unfortunately, Lance, who's been up here a bunch of times and has just been so appreciative, and he's driving the old Mopar and stuff. He didn't even get a consideration from you, Josh. That's terrible.
Nah, it's tough. That's it's. I'm a jerk. I guess.
Your likes are going to go down.
You hear that? You hear that? That's Josh's Facebook getting disbefriended by several hundred people at a time.
Yeah, right. Defriended.
Well, we're gonna do all this again. This was a good show. This was a good morning recap. We're at just about an hour at this point, so we filled up a good chunk of time this morning. That is going to do it for the Crash Course podcast from Blizzard Bash. However, we are going to be doing the Blizzard forecast program on the Ustream, and then we plan on being back in the studio Monday night in Seneca Falls, going live 6 o'clock Eastern. All the support, all the comments, and everything, the text message from all of our fans at home. We've been loving it. We had such a great time out here at Blizzard Bash. We're going to give you the full recap and the full rundown Monday night when we get back to Seneca Falls. We're also going to have some of the folks from Wood Booger Demolition Derbies talk about an extreme there. 80s and newer bone stock. You can't even hardly do anything with the bodies. And then you've got this that we're just coming off of. It's such a contrast, but you know what? Both of them are so well loved in their circles. Yeah. I mean, you can't look down on it.
I like to watch one of these cars drive through a stock car. Just drive right through the center of it.
Hey, I mean, there's some big news from the Northeast Championships for Wood Booger Demolition Derbies, paying $7,500 to win this year.
No, that's great.
That's outstanding for a stock show. Why wouldn't you build a car? You can build a car in a day.
No, it's great. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I love this build, this type of build right here. I love it. That's what I'd run.
This is just like what you used to build for Waterloo, right?
Close. No, I truly think, I know we're running out of time, but I truly think you still need that Bone Stock show, because there's still the guys out there. That's what they love. That's what they want to do. I still applaud them. I mean, they're still good builders. They're awesome drivers. And
they just don't want to put the time in the car.
But yeah, they don't want to put the time, or they cannot put the time.
Yeah.
They don't have the time to put the time.
Absolutely.
In. And
time is only part of the equation too.
Right.
You need to be able to afford it.
Of course.
Yes. I mean, you're talking.
The money guys are spending, the money we've been seeing spent is just amazing.
But my whole point is there's no less respect for the guys running stock shows than there is the guys that run these big dollar shows.
Agree.
And the big dollar shows seem to get a lot more popularity and a lot more
recognition, respect, growth.
But maybe because they're a little more.
I mean, they get it.
They get it just because I think.
There's a shock factor.
Right.
You can smash a car and win $7,500. Good Lord, why not try it?
Right. All right, sure.
And that's why my hat's off to them guys, and to actually have that, have that type of show, and I think it's only going to get bigger for them.
There's nothing else like it. Not with that stock build. That's the big thing. You're so limited in what you can do. The car is strictly stock. Strictly stock.
Exactly.
So we're going to be able to talk a little bit more about that when we get back to Seneca Falls Monday at some point. Not sure when that's going to be because we don't know how today is going to go.
No.
Championship Sunday at Blizzard Bash 2013. Lots of stuff on deck. The B main first off on the top. Then we've got the modified compacts, the no welds, the old iron, the pro mods, and the Team A feature. They've got it scheduled from 2 to 5, but don't shut it off at 5 o'clock because we're going to be out here for a long time.
Yeah, no way.
And it's going to be a good time for my good friend Ben Host and Josh Decker here. That's going to do it for this edition of the Crash Course. We appreciate you joining us, and we're going to see you back here on Monday when we get to Seneca Falls. Thanks a lot.